Good morning. Normally at this time, we would prepare for our meditation. We're still going to meditate today, but because of this burning bowl ceremony we're going to do today, we're mixing up the order of service a bit. Plus, it's my last Sunday, so we're going to throw some chaos in as well. Did everyone have a good Christmas? Yes? Excellent. Did we all get good presents? More importantly, did we give better presents? 'Tis the season, after all, right? That's what it's all about. Did we spend time with extra extended family, or at least made phone calls? Did some Skype conversations, all that good stuff, connecting in. My Christmas Day ritual, one of them is to call my family back in Barbados, and especially my grandmother. This is always an interesting phone call because my grandmother is 80-something, a little bit of hard of hearing, and she doesn't quite get the delay when you make an overseas phone call. So every time she says something and she hears silence for 2 seconds, that's the time I'm replying, but she's, "Hello, you still there? You can hear me?" So she's yelling over my response, and then I have to say, "Yes, I can hear you," and give back my response, and then the process starts all over again. So a conversation that should and could last about 15 minutes usually takes about 45 because she still doesn't quite get the delay. But it's what we do. It's what I do. So on Christmas Day, I gave her a call, and she wanted to, among other things, wish us a Merry Christmas, find out how the girls are doing, Joy and Jan, because she can never get Jennifer's name right still. Still calls her Jan. And she said, "And I want to congratulate you on your new appointment and your new job coming up." So she goes into being the wonderful grandmother that she is, tells me what a wonderful job I'm going to do, and she's so happy for me. And then she goes into giving me the warning about being careful and keeping myself grounded in prayer because, the devil has schemes for good people like me. So this is when the conversation always takes that more interesting turn. Now there's a Zen story about this woman who wanted to go home, and she was a vegan, and she says, "I don't like going home for Christmas because every time I go home, my mother seems to refuse to acknowledge the fact I'm vegan, and she just cooks all this meat and then is upset when I don't eat it." And the Zen teacher says to the students, "When you go home, eat the turkey. Eat the turkey." Not necessarily abandon who you are, but what's more important at that point? Peace. So when I have these conversations with my grandmother, I realize that, bless her heart, there's no way she's going to overcome the theological idea that unity is grounded in. The theological idea that there is one power and there's one presence. It is a presence that we call God. It is spirit. It is all there is. It is beginning and the end. There is no opposing force to that. There's no opposing force in any personhood of anything. But she doesn't quite get that because that's not the theology of her upbringing. So when we have these conversations and she goes into telling me about, and this part of the conversation lasted about 10 minutes, okay? So, again, like the Zen saying goes, I ate the turkey. And I said, "Yes, Granny. Yes, Granny." I might have even thrown in an amen or two just to let her know I was listening, but I may have just encouraged her some more. But it was fascinating, to remember that was once my path as well. Side note. So in Unity, religious science, some other movements, they call themselves New Thought, Ancient Wisdom. Okay? We're New Thought, and the phrase some people use is New Thought, Ancient Wisdom. Do you know why they tack on that ancient wisdom part at the end? It's simply because what we're doing is we're taking a look at perhaps how the original ideas were put forward. So unity comes out of Christianity. It is our roots. Christianity comes out of Judaism. It is their roots. In the original idea of Judaism, there was no enemy. There was no devil. There was no Satan. There was no personhood against God. This was an idea people think that, the Jews may have picked up when they were in exile in Babylon, where the religion of their time was Zoroastrianism, and it was all about duality. So they picked up that duality idea, and that's how it was introduced and, kept on going. But the idea of New Thought, Ancient Wisdom is going all the way back to the beginning of the ideas. And Judaism, in its strictest sense, as a monotheistic religion, means there's one God, and that's all there is. And unity subscribes to that idea. One power, one presence. That's it. And then, unfortunately, we have us people in the mix. I like to say things would just go perfectly all the time if people weren't involved. But we're here. We're here. And while we are the very embodiment of that one power and one presence, in unity it says that as our second basic principle. The first basic principle is there's one power and there's one presence. It is God. The second principle is that is our innate nature. We are divine. That is who we are. And at the same time, you may look around and go, well, half the time we don't really act like we are. And that's true. I'll give it that. But part of that is because we are human beings as well. And as human beings, we have learned how to be in this world. And we have learned how to be in this world sometimes through trial and error, sometimes through fear. We pick up a lot of these ways of being that would seem less than divine. In unity, we speak about our personality and our individuality. In unity, we talk about the personality, who we are on this earth, who we've learned to be. Me, Ogun, the guy from Barbados who as a kid was scared of everything. Everything. I was so frightened. I'm not sure why. I think I was frightened. I think it's because I was frightened because of the very first prayer that I learned. The very, very first prayer that I learned. Some of you may know this prayer. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. And if I die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. That one. So I was taught that prayer as a kid, and I'm saying this prayer. And about 7 or 8 years old, I suddenly hit me like, wait a minute. You mean I might die in my sleep? Like that thought had never occurred to me. And for quite some time, I was afraid to go to sleep. I think that's where my fear of the world started. And I grew up very scared. I grew up learning to play piano and as a musician. And my mother especially loved to get me performing at church. Scared me to death every single time I had to get up and perform. I grew up very afraid of the world. I grew up very afraid of people. Somehow I was able to push myself past a lot of fears. In January, when I start my new job, there's a lot of fears that have been coming up as well. I remember when I went for the interview, part of the process was to do a workshop on Saturday. And then I gave a talk on Sunday. Usually, I prefer to do it the other way around. You give the talk first, you make people laugh, you win them over. You know me. What's not to love? And then people get all enamored and they show up for this workshop, okay? But Harry was kind of going in cold on Saturday morning, so I'm driving to the place, and this thought in my head goes like, what if nobody shows up? Okay, what if nobody shows up? And I started to get scared. And when I had the what if nobody shows up, I recognized that voice in my head. That voice in my head was what I like to call my fraud complex. F-R-A-U-D, the fraud complex. that one day they're going to figure out that I really don't know what I'm doing, and then the gig is up. It's this irrational fear that I have based on all kinds of self-doubts. Maybe based on the fact that there were incidences growing up when I was not prepared for something and maybe I was embarrassed. But this fraud complex runs in my head still. So there I was, did the work, doing the workshop, and I spoke about this fraud complex thing in the workshop. Then the following day I gave the talk, and then after the talk it was like a Q&A with the congregation. And the woman raised her hand and said, "You mentioned about this fraud complex yesterday. What is your fraud complex telling you about taking this job?" To which everyone else went, "Ooh, good question, good question." And I'm sitting there going, "That's not a good question. No, not a good question." Because I'd already done the work the day before to get past it, now you're going to dredge it all back up. Wonderful, thanks. Love you too. All right. But it was a good question. And I had to share it with her. Here are my fears. Here's the personality piece of me. And we sometimes use the word ego, but ego, we give the ego a bad rap. The ego is just who we are as we understand ourselves. That's it. How we understand ourselves as a person. That's our ego. And it serves a good purpose. Okay? So here were some of my fears about stepping into this new job. I had never been in that position of senior minister before. I really don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, there's that. I was going to get to that. Don't shh. I got this. So there was that. There was the fact that of the other people who were applying for the job as well, they all had senior ministry experience. So there was that. There was I'm going to be working there and my family's going to be back here. So that's going to be tough. So there's that. There's going to be me leaving a spiritual community that I've grown into and love, and they love me. So there's going to be that. There were more things. I won't go into all of them now, but I shared them. And it's funny when you voice your fears. When you voice your fears out loud, often they don't seem as daunting as they were in your head. It's an interesting process we go through. We can make things so much bigger in our head than they really are. One of Unity's greatest spiritual tools is something we call affirmations and denials. Or denials and affirmations is probably the better order. In Unity, when we speak about denials and affirmations, what we do is we deny that the power a thing may have over us, the power that a fear may have over us, the power that an illness may have over how we think, see, and perceive ourselves. Because there can be a lot, there is a lot in this world that makes us forget who we truly are. Who we truly are. Why? Because sometimes pain and loss really hurts. Physical illness really hurts. And when we are in pain and we're in loss and we're in suffering, it is very easy to forget who we really are, which are divine beings. So we deny that power of these things outside of ourselves and we affirm who we truly are. And who we truly are, expressions, the walking, living, breathing expression of that one power and that one presence that we call God. That's who we are at our core. This is what the Burning Bowl is about. The Burning Bowl is simply an experience of denial, an experience of giving voice to those things, those fears, those thoughts, those doubts that hold us back from expressing the fullness of who we are. By giving voice to them, they're not as scary. By seeing them ignited in the flame, it symbolizes our willingness, our readiness to step away from them. And a little bit of disclaimer about the burning bowl. I remember my first burning bowl experience in Unity. And I thought, okay, I'm going to put this in and I'm never going to have to deal with this again. And that really wasn't what happened. The thoughts came up just not a few days later that I had to release in the burning bowl. But here's what happened differently for me. Before the burning bowl, when the thoughts came up, I would still struggle with them. Sometimes they would paralyze me. Sometimes they would hold me back. But this time, because of the burning bowl, when the thoughts came up, I remembered, you know what? I had let that go. I had made a declaration in saying, I am ready to move on past this and claim the deeper truth about myself. And this is what this is about. This is a symbolic idea, a reminder to you that when those thoughts, those limiting thoughts, those thoughts that would try to tell you that you are anything less than the divine wholeness that you are come up, you can once again release them into the flame. You can once again say, thank you for reminding me about this, but here's another idea that I have about the deeper, bigger truth that I am. There's an Indian fable about a mouse that was so afraid because there was a cat trying to chase it. So a magician took pity on the mouse and he turned the mouse into a cat. But then it became afraid of the dog that was trying to chase it. So he changed the cat into a dog. Now, unfortunately, it became afraid of the panther that was stalking it. So the magician turned it into a panther. And then it became afraid of the hunter, at which point the magician turned it back into a mouse and said, there is no hope for you because you are a mouse at heart. This burning bowl is an experience. It's the first step into becoming a lion at heart, into releasing, letting go that which no longer serves you on your path to wholeness. So in a few minutes, Reverend Jennifer is going to lead us in a meditation, a deep, extended meditation where we're going to truly allow ourselves to listen to ourselves, and get clear about what is ours to release, what is ours to allow the flames to take, what is ours to finally step through and truly, truly become that fullness of who we are. So in the course of the meditation, you're going to be writing these things on a piece of flash paper. Does everyone have flash paper? If you do not have a piece of flash paper, please raise your hand. The ushers will get you some flash paper. They will also get you a pen. Okay? So wait, flash paper first. Who needs flash paper? Let's do the flash paper count first. If you need flash paper, please raise your hand so that we can get you some. I think Roy needs some here, Cynthia in the middle. All right. Also, if you need a pen, please raise your hand. We have pens available. All right, y'all got to start bringing some pens to church so you can make notes of all these wonderful things we're saying. Bring some pens. That's all right. We have enough for everyone. We have more than enough. No, we got pens to go around. No need to share. No sharing, no cheating and copying off of anybody else either. Just, do your own thing. All right, so here's the most important part of the directions. Ready, everybody? Everybody? Nobody right yet? Shh, eyes on me. Going into teacher mode. I used to be a teacher. Going into teacher mode. Eyes on me. Eyes on me. So, like I said, Jennifer will lead us in a meditation, at which at some point you'll have the opportunity to write what you want to release. When the time is right for you to come forward, we'll let you know. Please come to the center, starting with the front row and work our way back. Come to the center and come up, release it into the flame, and work your way back around the outside. Okay? So we have a nice one-way flow of traffic. If you've never played with flash paper before, first of all, it's very fun. Okay? It will speak to the inner pyromania in all of you. Okay? But the important thing you need to know when lighting flash paper, please hold it by one corner, and as you put it into the flame, don't panic. Let it start to burn, and then let it go. Okay? So grip, burn, release. Everybody got that? Say it with me. Grip, burn, release. If you let go before it catches, it's going to fall all over the place. It may catch fire, and we don't want that. Grip, burn, release. One more time. Grip, burn, release. So grip, burn, release. It will not burn, despite that, it's... Everybody got it? Grip, burn, release. Okay. No, we good. We got it. We got it. Please only use the flash paper provided. Do not rip a piece out of your bulletin. Okay? If you need another piece because there's a lot to let go, we can provide that. Okay? Everybody got that? Only use the flash paper. Only use the flash paper. I'm going to invite Reverend Jennifer up now to lead us in our meditation.
Let's take some deep breaths together. While we've enjoyed a little bit of laughter and some storytelling, I'm going to invite you to go to that place deep within your heart. As the lights begin to go down, we're going to settle in for a little bit of an extended meditation. And know that in Unity, when we use the word meditation, it has a lot of different methods and practices. And this morning, it'll be a guided meditation. And so I invite you, if it serves you, to follow my words as we will begin with some relaxation practice. So we begin. We breathe deeply together. We inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. We let the body know that this is a time of inner reflection. So there's no thing, no place, no idea, no concern that needs to be at the front of our attention. Just the breath, breathing in and letting go. Breathing out. Imagine, sense, and feel a beautiful white light that is gently floating right above your head. And this white light nourishes and feeds each cell of the body as it cascades down inviting this same practice of inhalation and letting go. The temples of the forehead. All around the eyes, the muscles of the face. Let us notice the magnificent muscles that allow our mouth to open and close. And in this moment, may they simply be breathed deeply into, and we let go. And perhaps notice how, in letting go, the jaw releases and relaxes a little deeper. This white light cascades down around the neck and shoulders, bathing every muscle, fiber, tissue, tendon, every bone, every joint. It's bathed in this white light, white, pure light of love. And we let go. Down our arms, through to our wrists and hands. White light nourishing every fiber of our being. It cascades down along the bones of our neck and our spine, our rib cage, nourishing the heart, the lungs, and it continues down to bless all the organs of the body. Cascading down through the abdomen and the waist, the hips, legs and thighs, knees, all the way down through our feet, dissolving any place in which there lies a belief of limitation. Perhaps the mind has already begun to indicate beliefs of limitation beyond the cellular memory of our bodies. I release the belief in limitation, and I claim my power of wisdom and strength to let go. I release any belief in limitation and claim my power of wisdom and strength to let go. In this moment, in our consciousness, in our heart, we sit at the edge of possibility. It is possible to let go of any thought, belief, feeling that includes not enough, that includes I sure wish I had. In this present moment, we sit at the edge of possibility. And so for a few moments in the quiet at this edge of possibility, allow any of those limiting thoughts to come forward and write them on your flash paper in the quiet. All things are possible to those who believe. It is possible to claim that a belief we've had since we were children no longer has power over us. We may still hear it. We may still have conversations around it. It has no power in our life anymore. That is standing, resting, and believing at the edge of possibility. And if there's a belief that you almost think you want to write down, but you don't, in this moment, there's enough belief and power in this room to spawn you to know that that belief is the exact one that's ready to be set free, to be transformed with the power of fire into an energy that no longer has form or substance, but an energy that can be returned to Mother Earth and changed, recycled into an energy that is life-giving for someone else. Claim your own life-giving power right now to say, yes, I choose to let this go. It is the power and the presence of God, the power and presence within and all around us that connects us to that wisdom and strength that lives within us. We are never alone. One presence, one power. So if you would just lift your hand if you need a little more time to write on your flash paper. And so it is, and so we let it be. We release and we let go. Amen and amen.